Yes, I thought I was retired. And I thought, he's going to do a presentation, which I'm much more comfortable doing workshops, you know, and a workshop is so much work. Well, I thought maybe I'd get out of it by saying, well, my preferred future image that I had in me was, if I was to do a talk, it would be about the history and the development. So I said that, I said, well, that's what I really would like to talk about. Oh, that is very good. Okay, all right. I was hooked. So I have some notes to keep me on track because I lived this history. It was my childhood and my young adult years and adult years. So this will help me stay on track so we can be on time. And keep, there's some major points in history and development. It's really a history and development of OD as well. So I think that'll be interesting that way. You can hear me? Thank you for being here. I'm really honored to be here. I mean, I was sitting here feeling honored to be between these two people, and with the workshop we had, it was like the sophistication of the group and the questions and the level of thinking was, I was more and more honored to be there and working together, not just here, there and here. So today, I guess I would like to say I have worked in the field for over 50 years, probably. When I stopped to count this time, you know, I updated my bio, right? And yeah, I look forward, and I think that one of the reasons I'm so excited about preferred future, I would like to share that with you, is I think it's one of the most robust methodologies, and you can also mold it and use it in various directions if you like.
Take off, Larry.
Oh, right.
Ready.
That's much better than having the bulb blow. That's much better. We all know that, right? Just kidding, Frank. So, it was also one of the, historically speaking, it was one of the earliest tools of that kind that came out, and many things sort of flowed from that as well. So, and as Gerhard said, after maybe the hour together and maybe some questions and some comments from the workshop people, then we take a break, and then we can use the tool that we probe a bit deeper and a bit broader into what is innovation and inspiration, what causes inspiration for us. So I'll lay down the history and development of preferred futuring, why it works, and examples of how you might use it if you choose to. No obligation. Then we'll have a chance for the questions and so on. Yeah. Okay. All right. And I believe very strongly, and I've said this in a few conversations, it's necessary to understand the roots of the methodologies that we use and the historical methodologies, so that because they're who we are as a human being, and as we have kept ourselves clean or keep trying to do that, that's who we are. That's the tool we have when we work with the business we do. Leading and or consulting. We are our own tool. We have these we have these other little tools in our kit bag that we haul out. If we do not have a sense of our history and where we come from and what the underlying philosophy of some of the tools are that we have, we cannot, I don't believe, it's my humble opinion, we don't wield them as skillfully or as powerfully as we might. So it's important to keep adding that part to our knowledge as well, hopefully today. And the story begins in 1933, a long time ago. Not another universe, but a long, long time ago, right? Maybe you recognize this picture of Kurt Lewin. And he is the granddaddy of OD, grandfather. In 1933, he left Germany. And before that happened, he was trained as a scientist in biology and psychology. He witnessed firsthand Adolf Hitler's rise to power in his time there. And he had observed the management of social and cultural psychological change that was going on and what that was doing, in his opinion, what was happening with that. He was profoundly affected by the personal and social change he had witnessed going on as a citizen. And And this formed the basis for his work as he focused on the impact of democratic processes in human systems and the effect on culture and so on in the rest of his life, in the rest of his career. But there's part of the motivation. He fled Britain in 1933 to Britain, then into the U.S. the same year. He pursued a career in individual and social psychology, so social psychology is forming now. And he taught at universities and began to develop his theories in about the 1940s. He was at MIT, and he gathered some graduate students around him. He was developing the models and theories that I will share with three, I think, are the most, some of the ones that are the, I'm scanning across history. These are the ones that I think have the most, they're so involved in what we still do in organization development. They're still touchstones for our development of our activities today and the development of the field. He gave us three, yes, I need to work this out. I got so relaxed, I just, didn't really rehearse that much for this machine. So, force field theory, you may have heard of this. Can you see? Am I in the way? I guess I am a little bit in the way. Force field theory and the change model, really the first change model, I believe. And the action research model, core to much of our practice still. And still, it was still is important. So, okay, with these, he was on the way to becoming the grandfather of organization development and change management. And these also led to preferred futuring, as well as other models. So, preferred futuring builds on these three. In 1943, Kurt Lewin. This was a standard tool we all were taught and learned about in the early days of OD. Force field analysis, force field theory. This was a new innovative approach in 1944. Is when he really coined this term while at MIT. It was an innovative approach to behavioral science research that still stands today as the basis for many models in education and in business. This was revolutionary then and revolutionary now. Until then, research was done in the lab, the white gloves or maybe sort of attitude, and where you can control the variables for experiments in social science or in biology or whatever. And you can control the conditions. We were talking a little bit about that last night as we were going on our tour downstairs and so over there. And what he did is he said, well, it takes a few years from when someone generates knowledge in the lab. And then they talk to each other across colleagues, and then they write journal articles and exchange views. And then later on, someone may write this in a more public journal, popular journal, and then maybe a leader or a manager or somebody in the field would hear about this, and 15 years later, and then begin to implement. It's a long lag time. And he says, no, this will be much better if we take the social science knowledge and the tools for research, we take them out to where people are working, where people are trying to improve things and generate the knowledge there, and also then instantly, who we generate it with, they have the information, and they can make the corrections, or they can change their behavior or make changes in how they're working. And I was talking. Oh, this is what I was talking about. Action research model. Okay, and the action research model. I'll come back to that. The action research model was revolutionary, and this is what it was. You have to have a theory, a notion of what's going to happen, and then you act. And then you gather data. And then you talk about it. And so the experiment is really in real time in the field with practitioners. And then you together